All right, so a lot has changed in the housing market over the past 3 to 4 years. We have seen buyer demand surge, we have witnessed housing inventory drop to unexplainable levels, all the while interest rates bouncing from the low 2s to the mid 7s. All of these wild swings have left many buyers and sellers wondering what they should do, and for good reason too. So today, let's dive into two of the biggest questions I receive every day. When will interest rates start to come down, and shouldn't I wait until spring or summer to list my home? Okay, let's start with mortgage rates and what we can expect for 2023. So last year, inflation was out of control. Prices were rising so fast, the Federal Reserve had no choice but to take action. And one of the ways the Federal Reserve decided to battle inflation was to rapidly raise mortgage rates. This is why we saw mortgage rates jump from the low 3s to the mid 5s and then again to the low 6s and eventually peaking at just over 7% last October. It's important to remember, mortgage rates always reflect inflation and vice versa. Think of it this way. If inflation starts to rise, mortgage rates will rise as well. And of course, if inflation starts to decline, mortgage rates will dip down. Now, in the real estate world, this caused potential buyers a major hit to their purchasing power. And as a result, some decided to press pause on their plans. And who could blame them? Now, fortunately, today, the rate of inflation is starting to drop. And as a result, mortgage rates have finally dipped below last year's peak. And while mortgage activity has significantly shrunk over the past year, inflation pressures are easing and eventually should lead to lower rates in 2023. Now, if you're a buyer, this is great news. Any drop in mortgage rates helps boost your purchasing power, which in turn brings down your expected monthly mortgage payment. And even though experts are forecasting lower mortgage rates this year, it's important to remember that you should not expect rates to drop down to the record lows like the mortgage rates we saw in 2020 and in 2021. Simply put, as much as I hate to say it, we will not be seeing rates in the low 3s or mid 2s anytime soon. And while I hate being the bearer of bad news, it's important to have a realistic vision for what you can expect this year. And you may be surprised by the impact even a mild drop in mortgage rates has on your budget. Even the smallest drop can mean a lot of extra money in your pocket. So if you are ready to buy a home now, today's market presents a unique opportunity to get a more affordable mortgage rate, find your dream home, and face less competition from other buyers. Now, many buyers believe waiting until rates lower will make it a better time for them to buy a home. But the truth is, this isn't always the case, as when rates drop, buyer demand is expected to surge again, meaning you may face heavier competition, in turn driving up the price of the home. See, it's a double-edged sword. If you buy now, your interest rate may be slightly higher, but you most likely will face less competition, therefore giving you a better opportunity to win your home at a more affordable price with better terms. Or you could wait until rates begin to lower, which will push more buyers into the market, and you could face heavier competition, higher home prices, and you may lose your ability to keep the contingencies in your contract in order to win the home. Right now, buyer demand is lower overall, but rates have started to come down, which has more and more potential buyers planning to jump back into the market. That means right now is a sweet spot if you're in a good position to buy, before your competition grows and more buyers enter the market. Another important factor to consider today is this: sellers tend to be more motivated than they've been in the past. Lower demand from buyers often means sellers are more motivated to work with you, and that can set you up to buy a home on your terms. In fact, per the National Association of Realtors, sellers gave concessions to buyers in 42% of home sales in the fourth quarter of last year alone. That's a stark difference between what most buyers have experienced since 2020. But you have to keep in mind, the advantages buyers have had this winter will not last forever. The competition you face could be greater if you wait until spring to move. And increased buyer demand means sellers will have less motivation to negotiate with you. So what does all of this mean for you? It means you have options, but the clock may be ticking. The recent pullback in mortgage rates is great news, but if you're ready to buy now, holding out for a 3% mortgage rate is a mistake. And if you are in a position to buy a home, it makes sense to move before spring. I'll catch you guys next time.